Alright, we back again. We back again. It's the MindonGreatness Podcast. It's your host. Well, like I say, man, it's multiple hosts. We missing two, but that's cool. We're gonna keep the show going. Boss K Poe through the door. And we got the soldier right there, B Houston. And this the Mind on Greatness Podcast. Here to talk about sports, anything. We ain't running from no smoke. We ain't running from no conversations. You know what I mean? We here to give our perspective, and we want y'all intel too. So what we want y'all to do is hit that subscribe button and that like button when you get a chance. Put your comment in the comment section. You know, we like to read and interact with y'all. But the first topic we're gonna talk about is that Lions in that Chiefs game, man. The Lions beat the Chiefs. So B Houston, man, like what you think about that game? You think the Lions for real? Let me know something.
I'll be honest with you, my man. I don't know. I really can't judge it off that first game due to the fact that the Chiefs were missing two of their star players, basically the core of the defense, almost Patrick Mahomes' best buddy on offense. You know what I'm saying? They've been together a long time, so I feel like you can kind of give like a little leeway to the Lions for that win, but at the same time, it's like you didn't beat the Chiefs because they didn't have their defensive star and they didn't have they outstanding star tight end in Travis Kelsey. But I get into some stats on the game. Jared Goff was 22 of 35. He racked up 253 passing yards and threw one touchdown. But again, on behalf of him, I would like to say I expect him to continue to roll and build off this win and get better because he did look a little robotic at times. You know, it is the first game of the season, but I do expect him to continue to build off of that. You had David Montgomery. He ran the ball 21 times and finished with only 74 rushing yards on the ground with a touchdown. Ain't bad, but you touched the ball 21 times. You got to get that Lions 100 yards rushing. We'll take the touchdown with that. He had David Montgomery had no catches. I don't know about that. I don't know if he just wasn't targeted or he didn't reel in any targets. I didn't see the whole game, but I did see some of it. Jamar Gibbs, rookie, dude is a dog. He gonna be a beast. I believe his stat line was a little bit better because he was only allotted 7 attempts on the ground. He had 42 yards. He caught both his targets for 18 yards. And this the type of game I kind of expected the Lions to come out and use him as. Use him in the offense, incorporate him in the offense. I didn't expect them to deploy him that much in his first game. You know, rookie season, you don't want to show everybody everything you got right away. So I applaud the Lions for using him for the little bit that they did to show that he can be elusive and explosive in his offense. St. Brown hauled in 6 catches out of the 9 targets he had. He finished with 71 yards and a touchdown. That's an expected stat line from him. Again, I do expect him to continue to get better. And like I said about Jared Goff, continue to build off of this performance against the Chiefs. Uh, the rookie tight end, Sam Laporta, I like him. I like him a lot. I like him a lot. He was targeted 5 times. He answered the phone call all 5 times. He capped out his total on the day with 39 receiving yards, I believe. He fits what they want to do with their tight ends in this scheme. I believe he's a good new marriage from the breakup they had with T.J. Hawkinson last season. As far as the Chiefs, Patty Mahomes, hey, take it with a grain of salt, brother. You missing your boy. You know what I'm saying? You still had a decent game, 21 to 39. You picked up 226 yards passing, 2 passing TDs, 1 interception that wasn't your fault. It went off the hands of the receiver. So you keep being Patty Mahomes. That's not a bad game without your star player, and then you trying to build some kind of camaraderie and some kind of relationship with your new weapon. So we feel that keep balling out, do what you do. And again, for the Lions, I want to be honest with you. I think if Chris Jones play, I think if Travis Kelsey play, you don't pull this win off. But at the same time, a win is a win. It's something to build off of. Keep working towards the goal at the end of the season. I'm guessing y'all trying to get to the championship. Well, everybody trying to get to the Super Bowl, the championship. So keep working off this week one experience and live and learn.
Okay. My perspective is this. I think this is not nothing to overreact to. Um, the Chiefs did have some people out, some key people out. Um, David Montgomery did have 74 yards, but he only averaged 3.5 yards a carry. So that's not really good. I mean, Gibbs averaged 6 yards a carry, but at the same time, like I said, it's nothing to be excited about. It's yeah, you got the win, compared to y'all history, as a team, as the Lions as a team, that they haven't been good. We just gonna keep it a stat. But it's a step in the right direction. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson had a good game. Uh, they got the safety Gardner Johnson. He a baller. You know what I'm saying? And Aaron Glenn really got this defense really playing. So like I said, it's a step in the right direction. It's a long season. I get it, y'all beat the Super Bowl champs, but at the same time, let's just pump our brakes on the Lions. It's a long season. I've seen teams start off hot and then you get to that middle of the season, and then they losing back to back to back games. But one thing I like that the Lions did is they fought. You know what I mean? And me and you both play football. We have that understanding that, you know, you see teams they'll mentally quit. They'll fold, and they kept fighting even when they got down. They came back. They fought, right. So I was very impressed by that. What's the head coach name? David. What's his name? Uh, Dan Campbell. My bad. Yeah, he got this team playing, and they really believe in him, and he's motivated this team. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes had a. I mean, he had, like you said, 20 for 39, 226, 5.8 is the average per pass. He had a 72.5 QBR. So that's pretty good. He had a better QBR than Jared Goff. Jared Goff had 64.2. Um, the thing I wanted the Chiefs to do better is run the ball. Pacheco had 8 carries for 23 yards. He averaged 2.9 yards a carry. Patrick Mahomes was their leading rusher. You know what I mean? That's not good. I think they put too much. And look, let me tell you something. Patrick Mahomes is a franchise quarterback, but people got to understand you cannot neglect the run game, right? If you could run the ball, if the Chiefs could have run the ball, they would have won that game, right? That's just my perspective. Even without Travis Kelce, right? It was just more like they're relying on Patrick Mahomes to, you know, throw the ball 60 times. It's like, look, you're gonna have those gritty games where he can't throw the ball 60 times. He may have to throw it 20 or 25 or 30, right? But you have to, as a coach, I feel like you have to put your team in situations to succeed. And I just felt like the Chiefs I don't think it's more the Lions. I think it's the Chiefs allowing the Lions to win. That's just what I thought. They didn't control the clock well. Pat Mahomes really, it was just like they're missing Eric Bieniemy, and that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Eric Bieniemy had a good balance of running pass. Andy Reid got Pat Mahomes throwing the ball, you know, coming out 5 wide, 4 wide, nobody in the backfield, and he put Pacheco in. And I get it. You got a franchise quarterback, but sometimes franchise quarterbacks they need help, and running the ball will help them. So I'm a little concerned about the Chiefs moving forward. You know what I mean? As a team because of their play calling. What you got, B?
I'm gonna butt in right there real quick, and I wanted to add something to that. This is the question mark I had, with Patty Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those things where people say, "Oh, he's a great quarterback. He's this and that. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer." Yeah, he is true in today's game, but this is what separated Tom Brady from the rest of the pack. It didn't matter who was missing. It didn't matter who was missing. You most people can't even name half the receivers Tom Brady played with in his career. You couldn't if you pick somebody off the street right now who say they know football, they watch football, they know about Tom Brady, and you ask them, "Oh, name me 3 of Tom Brady's top receivers outside of Rob Gronkowski, Wes Welker, and Julian Edelman." They couldn't give you no names. But Tom Brady went in and he made everybody around him great, from the receivers to the tight ends to the running backs to the O line and everything like that. So this is the time now for you, Patrick Mahomes, to separate yourself from the rest of the pack and go ahead and solidify your position in your career to be compared to Tom Brady. So again, like I say, this is that time. I know it's tough when you got receivers who really hasn't built a great resume for themselves. You're working with kind of the scraps. You got a hurt Kadarius Toney. You got an inconsistent Sky Moore. You got an inconsistent MVS and Marquez Valdez Scantling, or however you say his name. That's too much pronunciation for me. But anyway, yeah, you this is the time to prove yourself that you actually are great. No Travis Kelsey. It's just you right now. It's no running game to lean on. You don't have a definite back in that offense, so it's just you right now. So now is the time to take that bright star you are and turn it into the sun, to where everything revolves around you in that organization with no Eric Bieniemy. It's just you and Andy Reid. It's time to be great, great. Be great times two. We know you're a great player. We know you're a great athlete. We know you can put up the stats. We know you got the rings. We know you got the Lombardis. But this is the time to prove it all right here. No Travis Kelsey. Defense is also missing their sound defensive leader. So right now the organization and everything that holds it, Kansas City Chiefs team and city, is on your back. So it's now time for you to carry it the proper way and show the people you are up there in the talks with Tom Brady and all those other great guys. But that's what I wanted to say. My bad.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, like I said, I agree. You know what I mean? When you sit there and you say you're the guy, you're the elite guy, you have to understand that regardless of who you in there with, you got to perform. You brought up Tom Brady, you brought up Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, same thing. You know what I mean? It didn't matter if you got in there with them. It didn't matter. They can get my daughter, put her in at wide receiver. She gonna have 500 yards receiving. That's just real talk. You know what I'm saying? It didn't matter. So Pat gotta, especially, I know the Lions are motivated, they hungry, they feel like, hey, this is our year. But at the same time, how many times did Tom Brady face a team like that believed and felt like this was their year, and he spanked them and he let them know, I'm the GOAT, or I'm the best. You know what I mean? Even if it's a back and forth game, you still find ways to put your team in position to win. The difference between Pat and Mahomes and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, right, is this. Tom Brady will sit there and check out of a pass play if he sees the opportunity to run the ball, right? He will like, hey, they lined up in this, hey, we finna run it. You see what I'm saying? It seems to me like Pat is just like, he get the play and he like, all right. And he just has this very good athletic ability that's so superior, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying his football IQ is low, but I'm saying it seems like he relies more on his athleticism, his God gifted abilities than this. Tom Brady was 40 some years old and you seen him manipulate defenses. Peyton Manning, up to a certain point, you saw him manipulate defense. Drew Brees, same thing. This is what took them to the next level. I'm still waiting for that for Pat Mahomes. I need to see, you know, him use this and really manipulate a defense and outthink them and outclass them. You know what I mean? That's what I'm waiting for him. Technically, in my opinion, they were supposed to beat them. That's just my perspective. I know the Lions got all this hype. They got all these nice young talent. You Patrick Mahomes, you still supposed to beat that team, regardless if you don't have your defensive tackle or your star tight end. You still supposed to beat them. So that's just my opinion on it. We're gonna segue into the next topic. Errol Spence. Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford, part two. Right? What can Errol Spence do better in the second fight? We saw what happened in the first fight. There's many people saying Errol Spence was weight drained. He was drunk. Some people saying Terrence Crawford was just that superior, right? So I'm gonna start it off and give my perspective, right? Errol Spence in the first fight definitely looked flat, right? We can agree on that. He was throwing a lot of single shots. He was lunging in a lot. He wasn't working behind his punches, and he was predictable, right? We're just gonna call a spade a spade. I mean, in total punches, Terrence Crawford landed 185 punches to Errol Spence's 96. Terrence Crawford out jabbed Errol Spence. He had 87 to Errol Spence's 33. And power punches, Terrence Crawford had 98. Errol Spence had 63. Right? So the things that I want to see Errol Spence do in the second fight is box. Now, when I say that, most people be like, how he gonna outbox Crawford? It's not about outboxing. It's about setting things up so you can do what you like doing, which is Earl like to punish you, right? So you use a little bit of that boxing ability, which I know he has because he's an Olympian. You can't go to the Olympics if you don't know how to box. That's just what it is. They not putting no brawlers on the Olympic team. It's not happening. You know what I mean? So what Errol got to do is put punches together. I would like for him to use a little bit of what he did in the Mikey fight and the Sean Porter fight with a mixture of what he did with Ugas, right? He has to put that together, but mainly his defense has to be sharp, right? I also think he need to bring in another coach. I think Derrick Jones needs to stay the head coach, but I would like for him to bring in Kenny Porter, Sean Porter's dad. And our reason for that is I want Errol to work on his feet and his defense. Kenny Porter is very strict about your defense, right? You look at Sean Porter. You can say whatever you want about Sean Porter, but it was hard to beat him. You wasn't just gonna go in there and mop the floor with Sean Porter. It's not happening. Why? Because his dad was very strict, like militant about defense and feet work and positioning and things like that. So Errol Spence also has to work on that, his defense, right? Working behind his punches, right? Throwing more than single shots. Still use his jab. That's the most important punch in boxing. Still use that jab, but put combos together. Put combos together. Set things up. You know, make Crawford work for it. Now they are fighting at 154, so Errol Spence may have a little bit more energy. His, whatever the case is, he definitely got to be more active. You know what I mean? He can't wait on Crawford. He can't wait. He got to go get Crawford, but it has to be technical. It has to be smart. He has to use his IQ, which I believe he has. That's his chance to put on a better performance, at least. You know what I mean? Hell, he may not even beat Crawford. Same thing might happen. I don't see that happening. I think Errol will put on a better performance than he did in the first fight. So that's my perspective. What you got, B?
I'm gonna start with the mental aspect of it. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what happened in the first fight, whoever was around you, whoever kind of manipulated to do whatever they said you're doing. I don't care if you was drinking. I don't care if you had an argument with your girlfriend. Whatever the story is, you need to kind of block out that mental portion of the first fight so you can move forward with a clean slate and a clear mindset. So my biggest take from that is, if you are gonna be distracted by the positive things that you're doing in your camp. Go and do something out of the ordinary. Train out of the ordinary. Like you mentioned, bring in Sean Porter's dad. That's a big key. Cause I believe if you can work on your defense and your footwork, that'll make it a little bit harder for Terrence Crawford to pick you apart with some of the shots he was catching you with. And it was kind of me. The roles were kind of flipped in that fight. It was weird because I was looking at Terrence Crawford do what Errol Spence was supposed to be doing. And Errol Spence was kind of boxing as if he was Terrence Crawford. Not even boxing. He was just kind of sitting there waiting on stuff to develop like he was Terrence Crawford. And I was kind of confused at some point. But again, I that's a good point you brought up, that defense and footwork, because I believe he do need to work on it. And again, like you mentioned, it is at 154, so I expect him to be a little bit more potent at 154 than he was at the first match when they were down there at a smaller weight. So again, Earl, you got to come with it, man. I'm still a true fan. I'm still a believer. I still think you can come out and put on a decent performance to make this fight a little bit better than it was the first fight. And at the same time, you have to be adamant about moving forward from the last fight. You cannot go into this fight being distracted with the things that people are going to bring up. Yeah, people going to keep bringing it up. Oh, he put you down X amount of times. Oh, he had you bleeding. Oh, he had you on the fence the whole fight. He had you looking like you never knew how to box. Like you mentioned earlier. Box, man. You know how to box. You cannot, everybody knows you cannot be on the Olympic team and you're not a boxer. We have not ever seen in the history of boxing somebody go be on the Olympic team as a brawler, because we already know what's going to happen. You're going to get in there brawling and you're going to get beat. It's just like being in the amateurs. When you're an amateur fighter, you can't go in there fighting like you in the pros. You can't go in there wasting rounds trying to fill out and feel for this. Oh, what punch you go? You can't do that. It's just like the amateurs. You got to go out there ready to slug, to brawl. That's just the amateurs. They don't care how fancy you look. If you dodging all these punches and you not giving punches and you get tapped 4 or 5 times in a round, then you lose that round. You only got 3 rounds to make a point. You only got so many rounds to make a point in amateurs. But again, this is on a professional level, so you have the opportunity to go in there and box. You know what I'm saying? First round, come out there, not guns blazing, but make it a point to let him know this is gonna be a different show this time around. You know what I'm saying? Mentally, be clear, be ready, and prepared in different ways. Cause Terrence Crawford, honestly, I feel like he went above and beyond his regular training regimen to beat Errol Spence the first time around. Cause I was watching him on TikTok, I was watching him on Instagram, I seen a couple things on Facebook, and I'm like, you ain't never seen Terrence Crawford really perform and do some of these drills and some of these workouts he been doing before he met Earl Spence. You know what I'm saying? So he was ready for you in all aspects and every level of boxing. He was ready for you, and you got to be on that same page. You got to fight fire with fire. And if you're not gonna fight fire with fire, you better bring some type of great extinguishing element to the fight so you can put out his fire. You get what I'm saying? So it is what it is. That's some real spills for your field. Make sure you're ready for this fight, my man. And I still believe in you. And hopefully when we get this part 2 of this fight, it's something that'll leave an everlasting effect on the boxing world, and it's not slated on one side. So next topic we're gonna segue into is gonna be this Colorado watch. My boy, Coach Prime. I love you, man, cause you making us look good. You making the brothers look good, cause it's right now. It's not too many people we can lean on to say, hey, that brother said this, and he did that. And right now, you paving the way for the world to see that we are true, real believers in what we say and what we can do as people. You know, as a black people, as a black man. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, you're representing the coaching aspect of sports in a different way. You're not really tailoring to anybody's talents. You're not tailoring to anybody specifically. You coming out, you being a father, you being a teacher, you being a coach, you being a mentor, you being a provider, you being a protector. We appreciate that, Coach Prime. That's big for us in this community, you know what I'm saying? Especially the football world, because we need more of these coaches. And it's not to take a knock on anybody else, but at the same time, it's like, hey, we need more coaches like this, especially with these kids about to start receiving big checks for being in college and stuff like that. They need that type of mental guidance, you know, when they indulging in these sports. But anyway, good job, Coach Prime. Let's get into this Colorado watch today. Number 22, Colorado played Nebraska. Of course, a big rivalry game. I'm glad they brought it back, and I'm glad Colorado came home and got the win. First game at home, they did it big for the fans, and I'm pretty sure those fans appreciated it. They stormed the field after the game. First things first, I'm going to say defense seems to be getting into a rhythm. Granted, it's Nebraska, not a great offense. They had a lot of self-inflicted wounds with some of the center and quarterback exchanges, the quarterback trying to get the ball to the running backs. Granted, a fumble is a fumble, whether they cause it or the other team just does it to themselves. Way to get on those balls and recover them. They had 3 fumbles. They had 3 fumble recoveries, excuse me. They also had locked in and added 1 INT on the day. Next thing I'll bring up, I would say this. Colorado, you need to clean up a little bit on your gameplay as far as the penalties, because you kind of led them on to be in the game a little bit early, too long with some of the unnecessary and untimely penalties. Y'all need to clean that up before you get into the thick of your schedule where you go in, you play Oregon, then you go the next week play USC. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the thick of your schedule, and we expecting you to be at full potential when you come in and get ready to play those 2 teams. So clean up those penalties and be ready to play ball against those teams. I'm gonna get into some stats. Travis Hunter continues to be a great 2-way player. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same stat line he put up last week, but the dude's still playing over 60, 70 snaps a game on average. So kudos to him. On defense, on offense, he had 3 receptions for 70 yards. No touchdowns this time, but we know he going to visit the end zone a lot more this season. We know that for sure. On defense, Travis Hunter, he had 4 tackles and 1 PBU. Kudos to you. Keep balling. We look to see you on another 100 snap count next week. Shador Sanders, my God. some more target practice with him. He went 31 of 42, 393 yards, and 2 tutties. He also bagged him 1 rushing tutty. Good job, my man. Keep playing. The only thing I would add to that is I would like to see you use your feet per se more to escape some of them sacks and stop waiting for the initial routes to open up. If it's not there, you got some escapability and you get out of there, avoid them sacks, and also throw the ball away at times. No need for you to take unnecessary sacks, especially in a time where y'all were kind of hurting to get open at first and trying to find some scoring through the air. So I would like to see you throw the ball away at times and still keep those points easily accessible for the kicker or yourself. Next, the O line, man, y'all made him look so good last week. He made y'all, and then he rewarded y'all so great last week. 5 touchdowns, big stat line, 500 yards, beat TCU 45-42. Y'all keep him clean, keep his jersey clean. Come on, O line, let's not start getting into the season and start forgetting how to protect your guy back there. Clean that up, O line. 5 sacks, that's too rich for my blood. He shouldn't be on the ground 5 times. He do great things when he's standing upright. So next I'm gonna move into Xavier Weaver. That's the mind. That dude had his mind on greatness. That was the player. I like this cat Weaver. I know y'all like Travis Hunter, but I dig this Weaver cat. You know what I'm saying? He, straight dog. He gonna ball out no matter what. If the play break down, Sanders roll out, he find a way to jet from one side of the field all the way to the other side, and he be screaming wide open. And what I like about Shador, he do not have problems finding him because he know, oh, scramble drill, my guy Weaver, he with me, and he done it multiple times, almost 3 times at this point because he did it twice last week and once this week. So Weaver, he finished the game. He didn't disappoint. He secured 10 catches for 171 yards and a tutty. And I felt like one of the tutty he had was a touchdown that kind of got him out of the funk because at that point the receivers really wasn't getting open and they really wasn't finding their way around that Nebraska defense. Their DBs. So at the same time, shout out to you, Xavier Weaver, MindonGreatness player of the game right there. But with all that being said, that leads me to the big question. I keep hearing when I'm hearing these announcers and I'm watching the game, oh, Colorado's coming in as the underdog. At what point after these 2 performances do we stop labeling them as the underdog? Because at this point, I don't see them as an underdog. I see them coming in with clear advantages at this point. I don't see them as an underdog. So I'm going to pass it over to you. That maybe you can help me shed some light on this situation. At what point do we stop calling the Colorado Buffaloes and Coach Prime the underdogs?
Today, really, after week 1, they should have eliminated that. And you talked about all the great points. One thing I want to talk about on offense is the run game. I mean, Dylan Edwards had 9 carries, 55 yards. And the only reason he had 55 yards because he broke that 34-yard run. Other than that, he was pretty bottled up. I know Dylan Edwards is a small guy. Me and you, we're technically not big guys. We ain't small guys, but we ain't big guys either. We in the middle. You gotta be a dog out there. You know what I mean? You gotta have more heart than that 5'11" running back that's 220. You got you know, because I saw a play. I don't know if you've seen this where Shador went back for a pass and Dylan Edwards went to try to block the linebacker and the linebacker mowed over Dylan Edwards and then sacked Shador. That's unacceptable. You know, if I was a coach, I mean, I know Prime, he know his players, so he probably just let him play. Me personally, I would have took him out, and I would have chewed him out. I'm like, you gotta get him on that ground, whether it's you cut him or hey, you gonna have to whatever, all 160 pounds or 70 pounds, you need to lay into him. You know what I mean? I know that's a big dude. Nebraska got them big corn fed. You know what I mean? They safeties was like this. I'm like, you know what I mean? They D linemen 6'7", 390, like they ready. But at the same time, you know what you up against. You know I gotta bring my lunch pail. I gotta bring everything with me today. You know? So that's the only thing that I'm concerned with. They gotta find a way to run that ball because what Nebraska was doing was they was dropping everybody in coverage. So when you drop everybody in coverage, how are these guys gonna get open? And then so he's back there patting the ball. He patting the ball, waiting for somebody to get open. What's gonna happen? Your lineman can only block for so long. Somebody's gonna break free. Now Shador has to play scramble drill. So they need to do a better job at running the ball to create opportunities to set up the pass. We know Shador can pass. We know this offense is very elite, right? But I would like for them to run the ball more. I would like to see Dylan Edwards. I want to see that more dog in him, right? He's a great receiving back, but he has to improve on his carries. He has to improve on reading that defense from a running back's perspective and creating for the pass game. Defensively, they stepped up. I mean, truthfully, if that defense that showed up last week was here today, Nebraska would have blew them out. I ain't gonna lie to you. The defense stepped up today. They took it personal. I like that. I like the fact that Coach Prime is able to reach these guys like soul and get them to play. You know what I mean? Each time he speak, they hold on and cling on to what he's saying, and they willing to run through a wall for this man. You know what I'm saying? So I was very impressed. I mean, Simon Craig, he caught that interception along the sideline. You know what I mean? I saw it a mile away because he was kind of sitting right there on the hash. And then I saw the quarterback. I said, this going to be a pick. And then he tried to throw that out to that receiver pick. I said, oh, this boy here. So, you know, they defense stepped up in a tremendous way. I just got a problem with the run game. But Colorado, to me, after game one, they the favorites. You know what I mean? Oregon, I could see them beating Oregon. USC, that's the game for me. That's the game. Because you got Caleb Williams, he got all them receivers, he got all them weapons. I don't think USC's defense is that good, but can Colorado figure out how to way to beat USC? That's the game for me. Oregon. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not worrying about Oregon. I'm just gonna keep it 1,000. It's that USC game. You know what I mean? Caleb Williams versus Shador Sanders. That's gonna be the game to me that decides the Heisman. That's my perspective. You know what I mean? But I'm very excited for Colorado. Coach Prime has done, like you said, tremendous for African Americans. I mean, I haven't seen that many African Americans at Colorado like that. And they had a black coach last year. You see what I'm saying? They got everybody black up there. You know what I'm saying? Celebrities coming in on the sideline. Shannon Sharp and Stephen A was there today. I mean, he's shedding light on this team, and they're becoming America's team. You know what I mean? Like, I'll root for them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have to go get me a Colorado jersey. I ain't gonna lie to you. You feel me?
Speaking of that, when I was watching the game, I was on there. I was trying to find me some little Colorado apparel because I'm sold. I'm bought. However you want to put it, I'm all in. I'm a ride with him. Wherever Coach Prime go, if he leave Colorado, that's where I'm going from now on. Wherever he goes, so don't ask me for my college team. If Coach Prime is on that college team, that is my college team.
Man, but look, let me tell you. I think I just thought of something. Let's say he stay at Colorado for 2 years. Nick Saban leave Alabama.
Oh my!
You think Prime will go to Alabama? Because that would be, if he go to Alabama, it's a wrap. That's it. If he go to Alabama, ain't no more Georgia, ain't no nothing. If he go to Alabama, it's a wrap. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna say this: as much as I love Coach Prime, like we mentioned this earlier when we was talking before we got on our podcast. If he go to Alabama, I'm gonna be little upset. I'm gonna be a little perturbed because I'm so sick of Alabama. I didn't seen enough of them. I don't want them having another winning streak at all. But if that's where he choose to go, and he choose to continue his legacy there, then hey, I'm not a hater. I'm not about stopping greatness. I'm not about getting in anybody's way when they trying to accomplish something. But if you go there, I'm gonna still root for him. But at the same time, if you go anywhere, you better come back to Texas, damn it. You Texas boys, you feel me? You know what I'm talking about? Come back to Texas, man. We can use you out here, especially in the great Lone Star State. We can use you in Texas, man. We need to bring back
He
real
need to.
football.
That boy need to come to U of H, man. Cause Dana Hogerson, that boy trash. I was looking at the I'm looking at the game. They was losing to Rice. I said, "How you losing to Rice? This is Rice. This is Rice. You can't even. They ain't even. All their team is white, and it's no disrespect. I ain't saying white boys can't play, but come on, man. That whole team. Man. Let me tell you something. When we play, I'm gonna tell y'all this story, and then we gonna close it out. Sam McGuffey. You remember Sam McGuffey? This boy was at South Fair. He was tearing boys up, jumping over people, everything. And he was like, he went viral before viral was a thing. That boy played us. He tried to jump in the air. We caught him in the air. Somebody finished him, knocked his helmet off. He had 20 yards rushing. Now, Sam McGuffey, on average, was rushing for 200 yards a game on average. You saw him running free down the sideline. He was tearing them Sci-Fair schools up. But when he came to us, rap. You know what I mean? And that all I'm saying is when you black, and I don't mean to make this a racist thing. When you black and you play these white schools, it's like, oh nah, this ain't happening. This not happening. You know, I don't care. I don't care like what he doing. He not finna do that on us. He ain't nah. It's just in you. You like him? Nah, ain't nah. We took that personal. You know, I mean, we could go off the grid. We got a couple of minutes. Your high school experience when y'all played them all white schools. I know you went to like a mixed culture high school, but when you played them all white schools, right? That was talking, and they had that one guy that was they was hyping up. Didn't they put a little? All right, and you like give us your little story real quick.
I'll be honest. When we went against like the Tomballs, the Magnolias, the Katie's, it was always a different aura put on the game because it was like these are schools where they had like somewhat small capabilities to go recruit the players they wanted. You know what I'm saying? They can go to the little private schools around the areas and tell them, hey, why don't you come over to Katie? Or hey, why don't you come over to Magnolia? Or hey, why don't you come over to Tomball? So me personally, I took it personal from day one when I figured out, oh, it's different type of, because I didn't know too much about high school football until I got into it and started playing. I didn't know about, oh, these schools are known to produce these type of players, or this school has put X amount of players into the college football rankings and some has gone on to be NFL pro. I ain't know nothing about that. So when they was telling me that, I'm like, what does that mean to me, bro? Just put me in the game and let me play. I'm gonna show you what who really should be there. You feel me? So it was always like that kind of, that kind of put that aura on that game. I put the stamps on the game, and we put the stamps on the game as a team because it's like, oh, Jersey Village has been known to get beat by Katy, been known to get beat by Tomball, been known to get beat by Magnolia. They always kind of talk down on us when it came to playing those schools, and it was just like when we suited up to play them, it was like no talking to be said, nothing to be said. Excuse me, it was nothing to be said. We went out there, we made sure that he was buckled up tight, and all you heard was clack. Oh, coach, get him out next. That's all you heard. It was just time to play football. We weren't going for that, but again, we did have those elite players in our district, and when it was time to play, it was some stuff we had never seen before. They was like the evolution before the evolution. You know what I'm saying? Sam Guffey happened to be one of those players. I believe his name was Shane Turner. They had another. They had another guy. I forget his name. What was his name? I forget his name. Anyway, since I don't know his name, I won't even mention it. But it was all those guys that kind of evolutionized themselves early before we got to where we are now in today's sports. Because if they played today, they would be shoe-ins. You get what I'm saying? But back in the day, since they was few and far between, they kind of like fizzed out in the crowd, and now they got these new evolutionized players, and it's like, man, I look back at it and it's like, if they was playing today, what would they have made it? You know what I'm saying? That's including us too. We kind of was before the leap of football, before it took that turn to where it was like, we want playmakers across the board. We care about size, but we don't care about size. We care about this, but we don't care about that. We was that before it actually took turn and became a real situation in today's football game. But yeah, everybody has been in that situation to where it's like, Why you telling me about this dude? We don't care. When he come over here, we finna shut this dude down, and that's that. Don't tell me nothing else about it, coach. Run it. Let's run it.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and I'm gonna say this real quick before we close. Deshaun Hills and Terrence Robinson at Klein Oak, they was tearing up. Deshaun Hills had, and I'm just telling y'all this. This man had 2,000 yards, 2,900 yards rushing, and 1,500 yards receiving. Terrence Robinson had 1,800 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving. I understand that. These are running backs. These running backs, bro. And they were so elite, they didn't even play with their quarterback. They ran Wildcat. T-Rob would get the ball. And T-Rob, and let me tell you something, T-Rob was 5'5". This boy was little, but he was fast in the mud. He get that ball, fake it to Deshaun Hills, gone, skating. Or juke 3 dudes in the backfield, gone. So when we played them, it was personal. We ended up beating them 38-0. Deshaun Hills didn't do nothing. T-Rob didn't do nothing. Like, I'm talking, I think he had like 2 yards rushing, both of them. You know what I mean? But like you said, if they played in today's game, they would be kind of how like Travis Hunter is, like just this superstar. You know what I mean? They would be like that. You know what I mean? They will be Sam McGuffey. All of them would be like that. You know, they would be those transcendent players. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? We just trying to give y'all a little breakdown that we played this sport, man. We know what we talking about, man. We ain't no dudes that was sitting in the mama basement in our drawers, and then we decided, oh man, we want to talk football. We didn't got hit in our head. We didn't got our helmet knocked out. We didn't had concussions. We didn't got injured. We didn't went through the journey. So, you know, when we, and even in boxing, you know what I'm saying? We didn't spar. We didn't be in that ring. We didn't competed. So when we speaking this is not just stuff that we just saw on TV. It's like, oh, we could do that. No, we actually been in here. We actually been in the ring. We actually put them pads on, put that helmet on. We've experienced these things. So when we talking, it's a lot of times it's from experience. You know, I think the best thing about this podcast for us is that we've been down that journey. So when you listen to us speak, it's not just us talking. It's coming from experience. It's coming from passion. B. Houston is very passionate about football and boxing. You know what I'm saying? Very passionate. You know, so when he talk about something, it's coming from his heart. You know, it's not coming from him just, oh, let me look this up real quick. All right, cool. I'm gonna talk about that. No, he ain't Skip Bayless. You know what I'm saying? He ain't Skip. He ain't Skip. You know, this is coming from, you know, same thing with me, same thing with Mike, same thing with Peso. You know, Peso ain't never boxed before, but you know, he been around us. So he's able to learn from us telling him our stories and our experiences. So on the Mind on Greatness podcast, we closing it out. You know, like I said before, ain't nothing fake or fraud over here. You know, everything is authentic. You know what I mean? We don't run for no smoke. Y'all got anything y'all want to ask us to talk about, put in the comment section. You know, like, comment, hate, and subscribe. Share the videos. We ain't running for no smoke. We gone.